This is the assignment that was given to us last week, and like we were taught last week, is for us to clean this data because the data is not consistent. So what we will try to do is to look at them for the IDs. First of all, identify the number, that's the maximum number. So what I did was to look at where it ended, but you can also do this to know where, if you highlight this entire row, you know under this side, do a count. It will help you to know, like this count now, to help you to know how many. So I discovered that there are, um, this roll is up to 5,100, just like the one we had last week. So
Why do we choose ID for that?
ID, because it's unique to everybody. All okay. If for this particular case, it's a case of people that want a mortgage, that wants to take a credit facility. So it means that everybody that wants to take this facility must have a unique identifier. So that's why we I had to use, because if you don't have an ID, it then means
Yeah.
you shouldn't be involved in the process. At least we should have something that
In
we use
fact,
to.
we shouldn't any
Anyone
observation
without
that
an
doesn't
ID
have
should
a
be removed.
ID should be completely. Meaning, in fact, where did it come from?
Okay.
Excellent.
Okay. So it's a unique identifier. So everybody must have an ID. Then, the next column is for age. So now we need to analyze our age. So what I did, okay, let's just pick the areas that we need to identify. Then we need to clean that. So you see age. Um, I'm just taking the whole of the header. So
Yeah.
you have a
You call it feature, don't call it
okay
header. But
features
okay, prior to this, you need to before you even start analyzing and cleaning any data set, you need to understand the data sheet you are working with. So in this case now, it's a personal loan data sheet from a bank. Okay, so we have about 5,001 observation, which you just saw him. 5,000 observation,
because
5,001
of
because of the extra one, the column for defining each of the features, like the variables we are going to be dealing with, the columns. So if you look at it now, so first of all, let's explain um, why we have the age. Age means age, income means the income of the person, but why is it 21? Is it 21 naira or $21? Or is it just, or probably is abbreviated to hundreds, meaning in this case now the person have 2100, that is 2100. You understand? Maybe the person's income is 9200, that is for 92. So you just look at those things, ability to define each feature is what matters. So zip code is the normal zip code. Family, Batibo, what was our agreement that
the
family
number
is?
of persons in the family. That's father,
Yeah,
mother, how many children. So where you see four, you know that it's father, mother, and two kids. Where you see one, it means the
okay.
person may be a bachelor,
Person is single.
single.
Yeah, yeah, okay. So CC average.
Cumulative average represents the number of credit card that
Yeah,
the individual
for the
for
spending.
spending. Yes.
Credit card
Mm.
average spending. Okay, education
Ed- Education is educational qualification of the
of
individual,
the
the
person.
person. Then
Yeah,
mortgage.
the mortgage.
Mortgage is
Yeah,
the existing mortgage that this person may have. Now, if you look at this, where you see zero, it means the person does not have an existing mortgage. But when you see
yeah,
81, you know that this person has a mortgage. What, like we mentioned, if we're doing it in two decimal, that's what 8,100. But for this one now, it will be like 156,000. I be
yeah.
15,600,
Beautiful.
15,600. So online, like we
Okay.
mentioned last time, if the person has, online transaction is one. If it doesn't have, is zero. So
Okay, so do
does
you
this
think there's need for us to identify the data type per column before we even start applying what you want to apply right now? Or maybe prior as we are applying, then you will now explain further.
sure we'll explain as we go.
All right, so you have the floor.
Okay,
Hope you guys are following. Alexander, edit.
Yeah, I'm following. I'm following.
Yes, yes.
Okay, all right.
okay. So now, okay, let me just take these two first. Okay, now for the age, for us to identify, age, we need to know if the age, the data in the age column is consistent. So for us to do that, we said we need to do equal to, you look at the maximum, the minimum age, the column for age is B. So
What do you mean by consistent?
now, if they are outliers, so we need to within if they are within a particular, there's something that is reasonable. So where it is not reasonable, you can say that's an outlier. We want to identify the
Okay, so outliers
outliers,
are like outrageous figures or
outrageous figures,
representations that are not consistent with
consistent
our.
with, yeah,
Yeah, okay. So in this case now we are using minimum maximum because age is a what type of data type? It's a numerical type,
is a
right?
numerical data, yes. And
Yeah,
for
so
age, at least we know that some people should be, there is a reasonable percentage of age that somebody would, you won't. Okay, let me do this. When I get the figure, I know there is something like a 620. So we know that nobody
okay,
in this our generation should live up to 620. So you know that it could be an error.
okay.
Are we following? I'm using the minimum. So I've got this. So what this means is that the minimum age on this data, on this data that is given to us is 23.
Why are you using five min M2 to M5001?
That's the range. That's the okay. Maybe there is a special word though, but but what it means that that's the should I say in statistics we say that's the population that we have, the number of people that the
Observations.
observations. Yes, that's the number of observations.
Okay, so let me so that you make it easier. Okay, so
Mhm.
beside let me just assist here towards the left by the side of 23 to the left hand side of 23 first. Go to the left hand side of 23.
The left hand side of 23. Yeah.
Just clear the formula first. Let's see something. Just write minimum here to
Okay,
the left hand
just
side.
okay.
Minimum.
Minimum. Okay, I understand what you want.
So that then maximum on there. So that the people will understand what we are doing. So if you look at the age right now, we want to identify outliers, outrageous details, right?
Mm.
So if you now see people in a bank that have below they are below 18 having loans, we know that there's an issue, right? We don't need somebody that is 14 years old
Oh, yeah.
as an observation, right? So if you see anything below age
18.
below 18, it's an outlier. Then if you have any an average age range is 120, that might want to be dealing directly with the banks. If not, the person should be shivering in the person's room, and the children should be the one doing those work. So if we have any age above like 100, 120, we know it's a what an inconsistent data. So those are the things we are looking out for. That's why we are applying the min max.
Mm.
So that's so continue. So why we also doing the 5,001? Each observation we have 5,000 observation, and we said the extra one there is the row there that we use to input the names of the future. So he's now picking the formulas from, you notice the observation starts from row 2 Okay, so that's why it's starting from,
row
in this
2
case, the age is under column B.
to
So it's starting
5,001.
from B2 column to B 5001. 5001 is the 5000 observation plus the extra one there. Yeah. So there you go. Continue. Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
from this computation now, you discovered that we have something like the maximum age on this distribution now is 267. Obviously, you know that somebody must stay up to
Yeah.
257 years currently. So it's obviously that there is an outlier there, so we need to come back. So let me finish everything, then we can pick it up. And what do you think, Israel?
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. So now for the income, we're also trying to identify their income range so that we know that there are no mistakes. So we're doing minimum C. So C2 and C. So what this means is that the minimum income range 8,000 minimum income that they are earning. You can also do a drag, but I don't know if it will be proper, if it will be the best thing for us to do. We also have a maximum amount that they
You
are
can apply
earning
the
to
drag.
be. I can apply the drag,
You can
Abi.
apply the.
Okay, let me,
Yeah.
so that will be fast. So zip,
Yeah.
let me do this.
Just take
Family,
initiative.
as family, cumulative average, then we'll say education, mortgage, and online. Now, this formula has been imputed here. So if
Why?
I
Why
drag,
didn't you? Why didn't you
no, no,
take
no,
the
no,
loan
no.
taking?
Sorry,
Why didn't
let me.
you select the loan taking?
Why didn't I do what?
Select the loan taking. Why did you leave out the loan taking?
The loan token,
The
Loan
loan
taking
taking.
now.
loan taking.
Column
Okay,
J.
no, because I think we need to at this moment. We're trying to arrive at people that will be giving the loan. So it's zero zero
Yeah.
zero there because we've not given out. So this sheet is supposed to help us to it's supposed to help us to analyze so that we'll know people that are qualified.
Scroll down.
That will know how much we're going
Scroll.
to give to them.
Nice. But scroll down. I want to tell you
That's
something.
my
Scroll down. So you see some ones in there. I
okay.
see them.
Okay, yeah, okay. We'll need to find. Okay, I'll
So
need
what
to
does it
remove.
mean? Wait.
For,
Don't remove
for
one now.
one, it's an outlier because it's supposed to be in my mind though. It's supposed to be zero all through.
Think again.
Loan. Okay, if
It's a
maybe
binary.
it could also mean that
It's a
they have an existing one loan. I don't think so.
yes. They have taken a loan. One
Before
means yes.
they have taken
So
a
this is
loan,
the
they have
idea.
existing loan. Okay,
Um, if the loan taken there is the response we are looking for, right? Is the response. So if you see zero means the person did not take loan.
loan,
If you see one mean the person took loan. That is
loan.
yes.
Okay.
It's simple
Okay. Okay.
binary. The only thing that in this case now we use zeros and one. Same thing like online. You understand? Is the person
Okay.
an online user? Does he have an online mobile banking? Yes means one. Zero means no. So now
No.
why we did not select loan taking is because we want to deal with actuals like um first of all, if there's an observation in loan taking that is missing, that observation is just like ID. We need observations that are actually visible exactly because that's what you're going to feed into the machine, right? Or that's what you're going to analyze that total and so people have taken a loan, so and so number of people have not taken any loan. You don't need any assumptions in these particular cases, right?
Okay.
Do you get?
Yes.
Those are the response. That is the response. You need all these other details like age, income, zip code, family to arrive at the possibility that those within this particular settings of categories, those between maybe 16 years old or 32 years old from so and so region that have this kind of income range, that have so and so a family size, that have the average spending on their credit card at this with so and so level of education with maybe no mortgage have a tendency to take loans. The taking loan there is the response that we are hoping to achieve. In fact, that is what the bank is looking at. That is your KPI. That's your target. That's
Mm.
why it's called the target variable, the response variable. So in this case now, why we are not analyzing it is because it's like it's supposed to be left raw. Do you get? The only thing you might check later for it is just for missing values. If there's any missing value or if there's even an outlier in it, you can also check for outlier in it. If there's an outlier in it, that particular observation you take it out completely. Do you get?
Mm.
Do you understand?
Okay, this instance now, because I'm just thinking, if I'm trying to identify what possible things that will be out. Okay, apart from where we see something strange like alphabet in it, or where we see something like um, um, yeah, an alphabet. Because I blank
Yeah.
for blank now, we could look at blank, yes, as an outlier because what we expect to see it's either you're taking loan before, which is zero, or you have an existing
Yes.
loan of two. But where I don't know if we see something like five, what would be 55?
Anything two,
55 would be
anything is a
two.
binary. It's a
It's a
binary.
binary.
It's a
Okay.
binary.
Okay. So
So
anything
anything
two
from
will also be
anything above one,
one, would be an
anything above
outlier.
one is an outlier. So add it to.
Okay. So can we continue now?
Yes, sir.
So I want to, the formula already I imputed in this place. We're using minimals, but I know I'll still come back. Um, okay, let me ask it this way so that we can just drag and go. Is it now we've been using minimals as our the what word will I even call this one now? We've been using minimax to identify, the outliers. So we've done that for age, we've done that um, for income. Do we think minimax will fit into zip code? If we, I want us to respond so that we can move on.
Yes, I believe it does because zip code, the number of digits that is always on a zip code is
Beautiful,
always five. So
beautiful.
any number that is below five or above five is an outlier, or any other number, or if it has an alphabet or a blank, it's an outlier.
Good. Do we all agree with what he has mentioned? Madam Edith, do you also agree? Do you understand? I need your
I think I agree.
okay. Is she still in this class? Oh, Madam Edith, are you in this class?
Just continue. Let's
Okay,
see.
let me
Maybe
continue.
even
So for that, we'll take minimal. For we can do that for also, and I guess we can also do that for family. So what did you observe now for the zip code? What's his name? The one that is in the class with us. Is it
Alexander.
Alex?
You have some that
Yeah, I observed that there's a number that is both above 5 and below 5 as well. Oh, wait. think-
Wait, oh, no, sorry. Okay,
Yeah, there's a number above 5 and there's a number below 5 as well.
good. So eventually we now know that we have an outlier there. Then yeah, this was where my brain. So now for this cumulative, let's observe this data. What do we think we should do to this place? Least cumulative.
First of all, I want to ask, what does the cumulative average mean?
And from what we observed, there are a number of credit cards. That's the credit card that each of the individuals have. So for this person now, the credit card utilization, this person uses, if we're using, like we mentioned now, if we're adding zeros, two zeros behind. So for this person now, it is $600. This person
Okay.
is $2,800. This person
$800.
is 1,200. So now we have seen something
Search
like this.
Google.
Hello?
Just go to the tab, create a tab, go to Google and ask Google what is the meaning of CC average.
Is credit okay? You're asking the class credit card average.
No, I mean you do it now on the let's see. I want us to develop that tendency. Go to create a new tab, just write CC average.
Okay.
Average. E small v G G space space. No. Close it, close it.
I'm saying this one.
Is joined together. No. That's
We
not it.
join together.
It's joined together. It's just that the A is capital, the small one V is small letter,
Okay.
and G. Then space bar meaning
Meaning.
meaning. Yeah, there you go. So if you see now under campaign, campaign for selling personal loan.
Mm.
So you see, yeah.
Credit
So
card
what do you see there?
average credit card
Average credit
spending.
card spending. So what does it mean? For each observation, remember the each observation is tied to an ID, meaning an individual. So under CC average there is the average credit card spending of the individual.
Individual.
So if we are seeing it in 0.6 or 6, it might be rounded up, it might be divided by 1,000, or it might be divided by 100, right? So based on the metadata that came with this data sheet, you can find out. But in this case now, I did not supply you guys with any metadata to describe each feature, but just assume that the CC average there is representing 1,000. So in this case now, 0.6 there is 0.6 times 1,000, that is what, 600. So
600.
2.8 there is 2.8 times 1,000, that is 2,800, is average credit card spending of this individual ID2. So and so forth and so forth. Do you understand? Do you get, Alexander? Batugo?
Yes, I understand it.
Okay. Alexander, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay. All right. So go ahead, Batugo.
Edith, are you
Okay,
there?
still probing the class. Yeah.
yes, sir, I am here, sir.
Did you understand
Do you
what we're
understand what you are
saying?
doing, Madam Edith? Yeah.
Yes, I'm trying to.
No, it's not
The
trying to.
approver,
Let's be
approver.
on the same
Uh-huh.
page. Let's be on the same page. Just tell us the areas where you feel, you're not understanding properly, or you lack 100% understanding.
Explain what you said again on this average. You were saying 2,800. Meanwhile, what we have there is 2.8.
Okay, now, if I don't know if you saw when we went on this to Google to check this thing. Are you seeing my sheet now? Look at this place.
Value
We
of
have my
household, the ordinary explain value of this.
eh?
Yes, yes, I knew when you got there. Yes.
Okay, now this means what this is saying is average credit card spending of each of these individual. Like we mentioned earlier, well, look, this sheet, is a sheet for people that wants to take loan. So we're trying to analyze each of them. We looked at their age, we look at their income, we look at their zip code, we look at their family size. So now we are on the amount that is their credit card average expenses that they make with their credit card. So this particular sheet simply means, so now what he was saying is that because we're not giving, so we're assuming that this thing is times 1,000. So when you do 6.0, 0.6 times 1,000 simply means 600,000. So this particular person, spend averagely, from his credit card, he spent 600,000. So if you do that, if you add 1,000 to this, it will be
It will
2,800.
be 600.
Six
Eh?
hundred. Sorry,
Yeah,
600.
six
Yeah.
yes,
hundred.
600.
Okay, it will be 600. Okay, if I said
That's times
1,000.
1,000
Okay,
now.
if you do it
Yeah.
times 10,000, it will be 600,000. Okay, if it is six, okay, let's use 1,000, which is 600. So this one now would be 2,800. This one will be 1,200. That's what they spend averagely, with their credit card.
Can you remember when you are
Are you
analyzing
okay?
a digit? Uh, Let me add this. Can you? I know you handle maybe like spreadsheets and probably representing monetary values in some way, and then instead of you putting 1 million there, you represent it by 1M, 2M, or you just represent it by 1, 2, 3, 4. But on top of the feature
On
there,
top
you
of it,
say this is over what? 1 million is how many zeros? One, 6 zeros, right?
three. Mhm.
So you'll now
Six
be
zero,
dividing
yeah.
it by what? By 1 million. So each one there, each digit there is now what? You have to, for you to get the actual value, you have to multiply it by 1 million. So if you have 0.6, yeah, 0.6 times what? 1 million. That would be what? 600,000. So if it's 2.8 is times 1 million is going to be 2,000, is going to be 2.8 million. It's just the same representation, but in this case now I think it's in dollars.
Million.
So you are using 0.6 times $1,000. So it's now 0.6 times 1,000. That's what $600 is the average credit card spending of this individual. 2.8 times $1,000 is now what? $2,800 for individual two and so forth. Do you understand? Madam Edit? Madam Edit, can you unmute?
Yes, yes. Can you hear me? Yes.
Yes, we can hear you. All right. So, Alexander, do
Okay.
you understand?
Yeah, I understand perfectly.
Gift, what about you? Gift, can you unmute if you can hear us? Maybe she's still having troubles. Okay, the videos will be available online. Okay, she has unmuted. Can you hear us, Gift?
Yes, I can, but it's breaking. I think the network is still
Yeah, we
not
are hearing
clear.
you loud and clear. So, do you
Oh,
understand?
yes, I do. To that CCAVG, the credit card and all that. Trying to, I at least I got what
Yeah.
Batubo was saying from the beginning when he was trying to explain to Madam Edith.
All right. Excellent. So, but over you. Over to you.
Okay. So now the next, okay, so I was asking, if we now that we've understood this, what this this credit card average means, you know, if we see something like this, what do you think we should do to it? Knowing that this could be 4 point, what figure can we attribute this to, and what do we think we should do? Considering these figures, let me just ask the question that you know Israel asked earlier. Is
The
this
best bet is to make it consistent with the other figures, so to one decimal place.
Have you done a job before? Where did you pick from? It's looking like you have done this thing before.
No,
Oh
no,
yeah,
I'm just using
tell.
like I'm just thinking. I'm not sure whether what I said is correct, sha, but I'm just thinking that probably is what we do, because if you just approximate it to the number of decimals the other ones have.
Hmm.
okay? Do we all agree
But
with her?
yeah.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, if you all say it is, then she is correct.
Okay,
If
let me just add one more thing.
mm,
Let me just add one more thing. There are many reasons to this, right? If you look at it, 1 and 1.0, 1 is what? An integer, and 1.0 is what? A float.
A floating number.
Remember, right? So if you feed this data like this to
You
the
say,
computer
hold
will
on,
might
it's like
Mr.
I'm hungry.
Christoph.
I'm
You say
hungry.
1 is an integer and 1.0 is what?
A float.
a
A
float.
Float
float.
number.
A
That is
float.
decimal.
Okay. Okay.
Remember programming data types, right?
Mm.
Yeah. So if you feed like 1, you're seeing 2 there for row 16. I
Mm.
mean row 15, sorry. You're seeing 2 there. Those are integers. So if you feed it like that, computer will be like, this particular variable feature you are feeding me. I don't know if it's supposed to classify it. Maybe there is a column of integers, or a column of floats, or a column of strings. It needs to be able to categorize what data type they fall under. But if you feed it like this, it's inconsistent. You can't tell if it's an integer or a float. But one thing I know that the computer will now generally do is to convert all of them to float. But another thing too now is we don't can we say we are going to, what level of precision do we want to our floats to be rounded up to? So we have to one decimal places, that is like all this 1.2, 0.6, but you are now having like this other like 4.3333 to a long point. What is the actual precision that will be satisfactory for our this thing? Because if you go down, apply the filter, Batubu, let's see something.
I should apply the filter.
Apply the filter, yeah. There you go. Okay, so scroll. I would advise you minimize, collapse the ribbon so that they can see. Yeah. Okay, do it again. Hmm. So you stop. You see that's 2.75.
Yeah, 3 points. There is this one too.
Like you see now 3.25. If you see now, this particular float now has a precision to 2 decimal places. If you
Decimal.
round it, it will be now 3.3, right? It will now be 3.3. But if you notice, the precision, it will be much more better, because round it to 3.3, you have lost like, you have assumed to overlap like 0.5, 0.05, which in a way might be, it might look too minute, but to a computer it might look very big, right? So you might want your precision to encapsulate to a certain point. So In this case, I want to ask you guys now, but people don't answer. To what decimal places will be satisfactory for this our column of CCAVG? Alex, let me hear you.
From what you have said, what I believe will be satisfactory will be maybe two decimal places because reduce it will reduce bias. It will reduce bias and um, overestimation. It will reduce bias and
Okay.
overestimation on some sensitive cases like this 2.35, like you said. And for example, it also helps in, yeah, two decimal places will also help when you're using a calculation to like 3.3333. You can just round it up to those two decimal places, which would then be 3.33. And the rest could be, for example, 3.4 would be 3.40, and
Yeah.
um, and numbers like one, numbers like one could be left as 1.00, if that's okay.
Excellent.
So,
4 will be
uh,
what?
so everything will be consistent. The
4 will
Four be
be
what?
what?
four,
4.
um,
I,
four will be
I like
four
it
point
4.
four point
Hmm?
zero zero.
Okay.
Four will be 4.00. Then 4.1 will be 4.10.
Okay.
Okay. Edit, madam. Edit. Do you agree? Maybe you have
Yeah,
another
no,
objection.
no, no. From your explanation, yes, I agree with what Alex has said.
So I want you to pay attention. You guys should pay attention because when Batu came a lot earlier, so he did this himself. So kudos to him. That was why I said he should do the presentation. And if you notice now, for each column there is a tendency for a variation in what you want to apply to it.
Yeah.
That is the whole idea of data cleaning. But when you start moving forward, you start making your own assumptions, and you be the one that will decide. Your own criteria might be differing from what Batubo will want to apply.
Okay.
So you might, in your own case, you might be more strict, you might be more flexible. You say, okay, I just want it to be one decimal place. It does not make you wrong. It's just that you remember what you decided. And probably if you experience when you are interpreting your model or your analysis in the future, and you find out there are one or two things that are inconsistent, you remember the things that brought you to that particular point.
Yeah.
Do you get?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not rigid in a way. So over to you, Batubo. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. So okay, I would have just gone ahead to clean this sheet, but let's continue from here. So we'll just come back. What do you think, Israel? Let's continue with what we're doing here. Let's continue with the analysis. Then we'll eventually do the cleanup, when all of us have agreed on it.
All right.
Okay. So now we have agreed. So we're still taking this to this point. Mortgage. For mortgage, yeah, we can still take for mortgage.
Education. Why eight is that 838,900
Yeah,
and
that's
thirty?
definitely an obvious outlier.
Okay. I wanted to ask that question, but we'll continue.
And why is your minimum one?
Should I answer?
Yeah.
Okay, for education, we have minimum. We classified it into um
Ordinal.
um
Ordinal. It's an ordinal
classes
type data type, right?
ordinal
Yeah.
data type. Yes, is
Yeah.
ordinal. So where you have one, two, three.
Yeah.
classify,
Representing what and what.
representing the various, representing higher education, secondary education, and tertiary education.
Okay.
So I think with this now,
We have an
we
outlier
have
in
finished our
there.
analysis. So now it's for us to now, hmm?
We have an
So
outlier in
it's for us
education.
to, yes, we have in almost all of them. We have in age, we have in income, we have in zip code, family, no, family, yeah, family, this is reasonable. So let's look at what we have done now and start to eliminate the outliers.
All right.
Are we together?
Yeah, so yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So we're starting from the age because we have 267 here as a maximum age, and we have agreed that the age should not be more than 100.
Okay.
So you clear all.
Clear. Not select.
Okay, okay, clear.
You
Okay.
say we
So
agreed that the age should not be more than 100.
no, I said reasonable age for
Okay.
in this our time, reasonable age. Of course, you don't expect to see people that are 270 years now. So
Coming to
it's
take mortgage. Okay, yes,
coming
it's
to take
okay.
mortgage.
How many people?
Okay.
How many people in the world there is up to 200 years that go to bank?
So
Okay, go
this is the
ahead.
all right. So if you look at the various age that we have now, I'm scrolling down. If you look at it, I want us to get to a point so that we can identify the outliers. So now it's obvious. You can see this is an outlier. This
Why
is
is
one
young an outlier?
because it's not numerical.
It's not consistent with our data.
It's not consistent. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I've identified this. Do we agree that we should go with these ones?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do we do? Oh shit. Did I do? All right. So now what do we do when you have, in our last class we mentioned that when you see the outliers, what do you do to them on your sheet?
You clear the outliers, you blank the data there.
Okay. So
You just what did they say in that thing?
Madam Edith, go ahead.
I'm trying to look at that our
Note.
diagram. No, the diagram. Mark, okay,
The
you
flow
should
chart.
mark it. Mark the observation. Yes, the flow chart.
Are you sure?
You
Is that what you
no,
typed?
it's not
Eh,
Mark. We go through it again.
is it
If
an
it's an
outlier?
obvious
Yes.
outlier,
Is
if
it
it's a
obviously? Eh,
uh
okay. Highlight it now. Just identify and highlight.
the ones that you highlight are the ones that are possibly, they are not outrightly. Like something like young now, obviously you don't expect us because it is outrageous. It is totally out of it.
So the 260,
Okay.
two
Okay.
hundred
Let
and
me. Let
something,
me. Let me.
is it not an outlier? It's an
It is now.
obviously an outlier now.
But do
It-
you have that picture of the our flow chart?
Let me
Because I noticed something. Or let me share my own screen. Just stop. Let me share mine.
okay, let me stop presenting.
I'll just show you guys so that we discuss. I want us to let's agree. Once we agree, yes. So there you go. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
So what we agreed upon is for each current cell, we agree is the cell empty or not. So if it's yes, we deal with, you know, first of all, we want to knock off the outrageous details or entries that we encountered from the different sources in which we collected the data set. So um, if we want to deal with those outliers and those wrong representations or probably wrong spellings and all those, and try and make our data consistent before we now deal with the empty cells. So we start with the no. So if this cell is no, we come here, is it an outlier or is it good? Is it an outlier? Is it an outlier? No, we leave it as it is. If it's yes, you now ask the second question, is it obviously wrong? Like we are going to see very soon. If it's not obviously wrong, that is no, mark the observation and leave as it is. Then if it's yes, an obvious outlier, like in the case of that age column now that we are having things like young, which is not consistent with our feature. We have something like 237 or 267, which it's not possible for you to have somebody of that age going to go and take loan in the bank, meaning it's a wrong entry. Maybe it was 23 years or 26 years old, and maybe the 7 days an error, or probably it's 27. So since it's an obvious outlier, what does it mean? Replace value with what?
Blank.
Blank.
Then after which, when we have done cleaning all the outliers, we now start applying what all the empty cells, dealing with the empty cells. That's when we now finally agreed is our cells, all the count of the total cells, empty cells in each row, that is each observation, if it's greater than 10% or greater than 15% or greater than 20%, based on your choice of parameter or your acceptance threshold. If it's greater than 10% in my own, in this our case, you delete the row. If it's less than 10%, you now start filling in the missing values. If it's numerical, you replace with mean. If it's categorical, like in the case of education, you replace with what? The highest occurring value, which is the what? The mode. So is this flow chart now that Batubo is now going to be working on? So Batubo, over to you.
No, hold on. Israel. Oh, don't. It's okay. So when
Uh,
at the point where that is, where is it an outlier? Yes.
that is what he's doing.
Is it obviously wrong? Now it's between 200 and
Yes.
something and young. So that's
Yeah.
where this is it obviously wrong is where we are. Is it a yes or no? That point. Let
So
me
is
understand that.
that point now is obviously wrong now.
Yes.
So
Okay.
if you know
So
the
it's
normal
yes.
age,
So we are
if I
going
ask
to
you now, what is your age? What is your age? You tell me young. That does not make sense now.
yes.
That is not correct. We need a detailed number for your representation of your age. You can't go and put in a portal.
So in
They say
this
put in your
case, we are
age,
going
put young.
to replace it with blank. We delete.
Blank.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, back to go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go. So to move over to you. Stop presenting.
Nah. Okay.
Share screen. It's interesting. You are doing it now.
Maybe small thing, you know.
There's no way you finish this thing and you don't know how to clean data.
I wanted to ask, like, all we are doing today,
All
is
right.
that all? Is that all that uh, cleaning data is about? Is that like just it about cleaning data?
Okay, so that is a very good question. If you notice now that majority of the application of data cleaning is on um numerical type of data sets, because businesses deal with most of the numbers, tracking the numbers, right? Your business now, you want to track financial records, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so basically the numbers, how many times the person probably are tracking website activities, number of clicks per second or per day. All these things are numbers. So you are going to be interacting more with numerical type of data cleaning on an average, right? But there are still special cases whereby maybe you are doing an NLP type of project. That's what natural language processing type of project, whereby probably the source of data set
Hello.
we
Thank you from this end,
can you
please.
hear me?
Yes.
Okay, someone is making noise on the background. Okay, so there's some NLP type of project whereby you need the source of the data set might be a recording and audio. Probably whatever transcribed that audio made one or two glitches, and what you are translating is a text, not numbers. This type of this type of data cleaning does not apply to it, but the, this type of data cleaning is just giving an idea of what data cleaning entails. Number one, outliers telling you something that is not consistent with what you want. You take it out, you leave it blank, or you replace with a close representative. So in NLP type, you might leaving blank might not apply because imagine if you are proofreading a book, you leave it blank, it does not make sense. It might leave the sentences erroneous. So what you might do is when you read you contextualize the phrase in which you saw the wrong spelling, and then place it with what you feel is the closest word that satisfies that phrase or interprets that phrase. So cleaning data is just about having a consistent and quality data set to feed into whatever you want to use. But on an average, you deal mostly with a numerical type of data set. It also applies to image rendering, like recognition and all those. You literally can choose to select which images are consistent with the images you are looking for. Your data set might be images you are dealing with. You know, its cleaning data set is wide. Okay, so but in most cases, what you will be interacting for now is
OG.
numerical type of data set. Do you
Chidera.
get? Alex, do you understand? Alex, on mute.
Yeah, I
On mute.
understand. So yeah, that was this. I understand. And also,
Okay, but do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, continue, Alex.
my other question is that since we know what kind of data set we are cleaning, and like, are these the only methods that we use? Like, are they
Do you have
like
a okay?
much more methods to use to clean data set and to check for outliers, apart from using filter, mid max, and average, and pivot table?
Is it for Excel alone,
Yes.
or you're talking about something more
No,
than Excel?
Excel, for Excel, because since it's Excel, we are being introduced to first.
Okay, this is what I'll just tell you. Eh? Max is an application, it's a toolkit you can apply that is available on Excel,
Mm,
right? Pivot table made it a lot faster,
okay. Yeah.
right? If Excel have a better toolkit that you are aware of, that you're conversant with, that can enable you deliver that data cleaning faster, is for you to choose. Don't limit yourself. Oh. Don't limit your possibility. There is no hard and fast rule in data cleaning. You know what you wish to, what you know, you are the one that understand what it means that your data is consistent. You understand?
Yeah.
So, and you know what you want, and you know what you want to feed into whatever model you are building or whatever analysis you are building. So based on that, in fact, because like me now, this is just the manual way. So Excel is just the manual way. I might want to just feed this Excel into a Jupyter notebook, or probably it's already existing in a database. I feed into kind of one Python programming, use pandas and run through, filtered everything, and just write one algorithm that cleans my data set. So it's because 5,000 is just one. I told you you are dealing like a bank. and you have how many entries per
Millions.
day, then times per month, it's in millions. So you might not be wasting time doing this. This is just the manual representation of what you see that is happening. So you know visually what is happening on the background. If you understand it, what's happening manually. So when you're applying codes to do these things, you know what that is happening on the background.
Understandable.
Do you get?
Yeah, understand.
Yeah. So Batubo,
Okay.
over to you. Let's just wrap this off.
Okay.
I was supposed to introduce Python today, or probably analysis, data analysis, but don't worry, we'll discuss that at the end of the class. I think today is almost spent. All right, but we'll continue.
Yeah.
So you see, he just removed the outlier for age.
So I'll do that for income too. So because I've removed the outlier, you now see that the age column now on this distribution now it's now reasonable. So we have between 23 to 67 years. So we do that same thing for income. And for me, I think this is the only outrageous one figure, yeah. I hope we're together on this. So.
Yes, sir.
All right, so now we're doing the zip.
Okay, Batubo,
So,
let her advise you on what to do on the zip. He's
okay.
read it. Advise him.
Is it? It should also be the same with the other ones now.
The same now. What is the same that you're talking about?
Okay, we look at the marks and then we identify all the marks there and delete
I'm
it.
scrolling down,
One,
so just tell me the ones I should remove. Or
remove the ones that clear the, scroll down, let me see. Ah,
is the end.
so it's the same. Uncheck the clear. Then check the 541,000, which is not consistent with the zip code.
Mhm.
There is no other one. Okay,
This one
so
too.
unless
This
you
one
are
too is
saying
not
that
consistent. If you
if you are
observe,
removing
all
this
of them
one,
are
why,
5 digits.
if
All
that
of
is the
them are.
case, why is that one, why are we not looking at the same thing with the income
Which
that
one?
has one income?
No, 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 no. What we're saying here is that the standard zip code has 5 digits. This particular one now that I had to take is 4. The one under is about 6 or so. This one is 6.
Okay.
So we need 5. That's what I did. That's why I said we should take that one too.
She asked a question. Why didn't you apply it for income?
For income, no income, they are because the amount there, if you observe, okay, like I remove the only income I remove is 700 and something mil thousand or so. Is 7
If you notice, each feature cleaning you are doing is unique to that feature.
feature, yes.
So if you see in income, eight then represent 8,000. Okay, dollars pay. for income, average income per annum. 345 there represent $345,000 per annum. So which is obvious, which is good. But in this zip code, we don't have zip code that is just 4 digits. You understand? We don't
Okay.
have zip code that's 6 digits. All is just 5 digits. So for each feature is unique based on what it means. You get?
Okay. Okay.
So I'm going
Right.
ahead. I'll
Yes.
clean this one off.
Okay.
So the
Gift,
next
get ready.
should gift will do the CCA average.
No, let her do the fan. Please.
Family.
Yes.
So
I
gift.
gift over to you to farm.
Are you sure she's there?
You can unmute. I think she's always on mute. I know that maybe some people cannot. If you can hear us, you can unmute. Okay, Clement, can you hear us? You can unmute and talk to us if you understand what we are doing. He has unmuted, but we can't hear him. I think we will have to address these network challenges later on. But okay, let's just go ahead. Okay, Madam Eddie, just answer that number for that family. I think Batu knows what to do.
Family. Um,
Do you think there's an outlier?
Click on the filter button. Let's see the minimum and maximum
Check
figure there.
check the minimum or maximum and look at
Okay,
it by
on the
yourself.
line. Okay, we have 1 and 4. 1 to 4,
One
rather.
is what the
One
minimum.
is the minimum, 4 is the maximum.
So do you think we have any looking at the filter too, do you think we have any outlier?
Mm,
Say your mind,
I
we are
don't,
listening.
yes, yeah, I'm trying, yeah. So looking at it, family, I don't think that there's any outlier on this family column.
Why did you say so? And
So
supposing we have zero there, will it be an outlier or not?
Okay, if zero is there, then that zero should be an outlier because there's no, unless they're telling you no zero family, and in the case of no zero family, there shouldn't be anybody taking mortgage in that case.
excellent.
Okay. The girl is hot though. Maybe she will.
So, am I hotter than you? You guys now our teacher. You can imagine.
Okay, so this particular CC average, I don't know. It was one. In fact, for me, this is the key. So, what do we agree that we should do to this place in
Alex
this?
has pointed out something
Okay,
there now. He said that
we should.
because based on our lecturer's explanation, that is Israel, he said that if you had to like something like 3.25, you had to reduce it to 2 decimal places. You are really kind of shortchanging. The system might not get it correctly. So we should go with like 2 decimal places. That's
Okay, so
my own understanding of with what he
no, you're
explained.
correct. You're correct. So we
Mhm.
should automatically what we just convert this entire one. See what I'm doing here? Just to convert it to 2 decimal places.
Okay.
Hmm?
check and see if there's any outlier using the filter.
There is none. Are we all together on this?
But now what I noticed that under our minimum maximum, the CP average has changed to 0 and 10.
Yeah.
Was that what
It
we
has been
had
0 and
before?
10 right from the beginning.
Okay.
It has been 0 and 10. What it means that the person did not have not been spending anything on using his credit card, does not have any credit card. If you see zero, so there's a possibility like people like me that might not want to have any credit card because I don't want to spend my money.
I don't know what we are saving the money for eternity for. Tired.
Maybe I want to
You all tired and go
off
heaven.
mic, off mic,
Off
off
your
mic.
mind.
Let's continue. Let's continue.
Okay. So now we've been able to clean this one. So now we're coming to education. So when you look at the I don't know if Israel, should I call this area, this thing the key or the analysis sheet? I don't know the right word to call this side.
Okay, let me ask you a question on that CC average.
Hmm.
So we cannot regard
Okay.
10 as an outlier because the other one is what do you call that data types?
Float.
Okay, is it float? Like now, others are two a digit plus an integer plus decimal.
No,
So
it's
some
Well,
are
sorry,
integers and some are we have converted all of them now to floats
to float.
using
Mhm.
float.
those two.
What I mean is that 10 is two digits now, 10 decimal. Other ones is one digit and 10, two decimal places.
No, look at it now. All of them have converted to two decimal places.
Eh, so
But
you
10
won't
now,
regard
10
10 as
now.
in others are 9 point, 8
No,
point,
it's now
7 point, but this one is 10
10.0. No,
points.
no, no, no. See.
No, it's
If you
normal now.
notice now,
10.
what's the meaning of 10.0? 10.0 there
10.
you are seeing. Listen now, 10.0 there means what? 10,000
Dollars.
what? Dollars is the average credit card spending of this individual. It's possible. The person is a
Mm.
luxury type of person. Maybe the person went and bought a the person can is this people that can go to maybe Cubana and be
They bought a
finishing
yacht.
their life.
Mm.
Yes, okay. So there is it's a possibility. So it's not it might not be an outlier.
Okay.
Okay, so it's okay. Yeah,
This is a 9,300. This is a 10,000. So it's within the
yeah.
range.
So it's consistent. It's within the range. Yeah.
Mm.
But if you see something like 100, okay.
Like we mentioned now, if you see 100 could also be reasonable depending on the person's income level. I think for me,
Now,
if I see 100, what
now,
I'm going to do, usually, let me finish now.
okay.
If I see
Yeah,
100 on this credit card
yeah.
limit, I'll also be forced to look at his income. In that instance, okay, like
Yes.
see that person that has 700 and something that we remove from the income. If you see 100 on his CC card,
Yeah.
if this data had given us if we had seen a situation where that person that had 100 now, his CC card
Mm-hmm.
to his somebody that has 100 on CC card, if his income is about 700 and something, I think we should allow it. It will not be
Yeah.
an outline.
Interesting. So now you just answered it correctly. You maybe your bank policies now have first of all, another thing you also to look at is the bank policy, right? Does even the bank policy have credit card limit that sustain up to what 100,000? You get. So
100,000.
if
Mhm.
now,
Mhm.
yeah, if even if the person's account balance can apply to that, there are some people that have critical limit that is unlimited. You understand? So even if you have one
Mm.
person that have one kind
Um,
of outrageous detail, it might be up to you, because remember, when you are modeling, um you are looking for the average outcome. One, you can choose, it might not even be an outlier, it might be an actual event that one individual has an unlimited credit card, but that one figure can actually distort your entire analysis. You understand? And probably when you want to build the
Mm.
model, you might choose to say, okay, yes, it's a possibility, but it will distort my average outcome to a great
So in
extent.
that
Let me
instance, you
drop it.
isolate that person.
Very good. So there's no hard and fast rule. It's based on the situation and the case and your application as an individual. You're the one analyzing. Do you get?
okay, let's go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay, now for the education. Yeah, I was saying this about this. What name should I even call this thing? Should I call it an analysis sheet or something? Or a
You
distribution
are free,
sheet?
whatever you want to call it.
And
This particular video, you know what I would do? I'm going to make it public. You know, you've noticed all the other YouTube videos have been kind of making it, unlisting it, meaning the only those with the links. So, but this particular one, I'm going to really make it public, like to the entire world. So, congratulations, Batu.
uh-uh.
Ah, yeah, we are coming up. We are coming up. This
Mhm.
is how it starts.
All right, so we're presenting, like, we're looking at education. Let's analyze the education. So it's obvious we have an outline. So if you look at the table here, we play all. So these are obviously the
Outliers.
mm, so we've done that for education. So education is now clear. So you're just seeing one and three. Then you also look at mortgage. Mortgage. Now this mortgage is also a very sensitive one. Do we think we really have an outlier in this mortgage? Are we seeing the figures? I'm scrolling down for us to see the figures. Do we really think so?
What gauge? So we have zero as the minimum and 635 as the max. Um,
What is
ah,
mortgage?
what gauge is like a loan now.
Okay, those that, but in this case now,
It's for house.
it means what?
Is it for
Those that have
housing?
those
Those
that
that
have
have
an
existing
active
mortgage.
mortgage. Yeah.
Those that have existing mortgage.
Yes.
Meaning you see those that have zero. Check if there's anyone that have zero.
Yes.
There's
So
zero
there are
there.
people with, so that zero, is it an outlier? The answer is no. So
No.
because there are people that don't have a mortgage,
Like
you know,
Israel.
act, I don't have. Yeah, thank you very much.
Mm,
So check the marks. Check the marks to see if there's any, if
It's
it's
not
possible
too
for someone to.
the amount
it's
is
not outrageous.
yes, it's not
It's not
outrageous.
outrageous. So let's
Mm,
go ahead. Let's go to the next.
mhm.
So if you say zero is not an outlier, in this case, we are looking at how
The
do I put
use
it?
case pay. feature you are dealing with.
Uh,
We are
I'm
looking at
I'm
like
painting a
when
picture
we're dealing
of
with
the
age,
uh,
when we are dealing with age, the
okay.
minimum, because it's a bank loan, there is expected that only you must be 18 years and above. So if I see 17, it's an outlier or it's a problem, it's inconsistency. You get.
Mm,
So in this case now we're talking about mortgage. Zero there represent the person doesn't have any mortgage with us, active mortgage. Then if I see something like 105,000, 100 okay, 105 is okay. Let me 1 point something m in it. It's a possibility. Then I can also choose. I tell you, the use case applies. It depends on what you want to do. You understand?
mm,
If you feel it's going to distort your this thing, and there are ones that are going to be obviously outrageous,
Mm.
you then knock it off.
Like if you see 10 million,
It's
yeah, in place of this,
mm-hmm,
like this 60. So you
yes,
just know, and you also look at the frequency, how many people, how many of them have that
yeah,
because when I looked at this, at one point I was thinking we should remove the 600, but when I saw that, we had more, like if you look at the distribution, the figures, yeah, you see 100, you see something, they are related, you know. But when you come down and you see even I would have ordinarily stopped it at 600, but then you see at 500, for example. But when I saw that 600, these figures looks related, consistent. So if since they are consistent, somehow you can also look to say, okay, how many of these 635 do we have? Yes. If it is just one and you feel that one will, it will affect your outcome, then you can leave it. But I think for me, in my own thinking, my own judgment, I would say that we can leave it like this.
okay.
So this is online and it's 1 and 0, so it's okay. Then here too, we also have 1 and 0s.
Online,
Online is one and
okay.
zero. No out, no, no,
Also,
no,
we are
no,
no
yeah,
out.
no outline.
Did you check for loan taking? Let's see.
Loan taking to is 1 and 0.
Let's see.
Hmm?
Okay.
It's 1 and 0.
Okay, then we are good.
Hmm.
So, what's the next phase?
The next phase is over to our teacher. Our teacher should take it off from here.
Okay, yeah. All right. But you are with a sheet, but you are with a Google sheet, so you keep working on it. I need to be directing now.
Okay.
Um, okay. So we have. If you look at that, our flow chart. Um, I'll still need. Let me just 1 minute, guys. We are back on live. We're back live. Okay, so let's continue. If you look at this flowchart again now we
Chicken
have
like
finished
this.
taking out
Snack,
all
I
our
mean, this
outliers.
is long.
Mhm.
If you notice now we have what we want to do now is this section. Let me wait. Where is this pen marker? This is a section we want to deal with now. You understand?
Mm.
This is the section I want to deal with now. So we will split it into two. So what the first thing we're going to do is um the first thing we want to do is uh 10 greater than 10% of the values in this row, each row, like each of this row,
Each
each of
individual.
these rows, each individual observation. You understand? If is it what is it? are greater than 10% of the values in this row empty? If greater than 10%, you delete the row. You understand?
Where's the row now?
You
Are
get
you not showing us the
the
spreadsheet?
row. Okay. 1 minute, guys. Sorry, I had to just clear some things. Alright, looks like my internet is switching. But a lot of things is going on in the background because it's reloading. Just give me 1 minute. So each row, like now in this case now, 10% greater than 10% means what? How many row columns do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10% is what? 10% is what? How many rows?
Yep. Is it 10%
How
of
many
10?
columns? Sorry. Yeah, 10% of 10 is what? Is 1, right?
It's one.
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 Yes. So greater than 10% means what? More than one row. More than
More
Mm-hmm.
one
than one
column,
row.
sorry. So if it's greater than 10% of values in this row that is empty, what it means, if it's yes, that is greater than one empty cell in each row, you do what? You delete the row. If it's less than 10%, mean in this case it's just one. If it's just one, is what? The feature, you now determine whether or not to fill in the feature based on if it's numerical or categorical. You now fix in or you fill in the missing values. All right. So first thing now we want to do is to knock off those that are greater than 10% because we don't want to have too many missing cells. Another thing too now is this 10% is not cast in concrete. It's based on your own tolerance. But our own tolerance in this case is just 10%, which is just one missing cell per row. Do you get? Do you get? Do you guys understand? Alright. What don't you understand?
Okay, so yes, I knew how you got to okay the greater than 10%, which is anyone greater than the 10%, which is one. Anything greater than one,
Yeah.
we should
Yeah.
delete the row.
The row.
Yes. So now the other part, when it is not greater than one, maybe if it is equal to one or less than one,
Yeah.
right? Okay, explain that
So
further.
let me give you an example. Let's assume I deleted this and deleted this. Eh? And this thing was it like this. Row 1, does it satisfy that okay for us? That is row 2. How many missing cells do we have?
One.
So is it okay? Do we delete it based on our statement?
Okay, sorry, let me ask a question. Now, in this sheet now,
Yeah.
which of the parameters are we considering for this deletion?
What we are considering now
Is
is
it age, income,
per row.
family?
Remember, okay, let me make these statements that will make it easy. In each row is each individual's observation, each case we are studying, right? Now, in each case, if we have too many missing details, it's no more it's no more unique in a case. You understand? We don't want to have many assumptions filling in the missing values. So
Mhm.
we are our threshold of tolerance is saying if we have greater than 10% of the values in that particular row or observation that is missing, we are going to what? Delete it. If not, if it's no, we are going to fill it with, based on the data type, we're going to fill in the missing values. If it's
Okay.
numerical,
Okay.
we fix with mean. If it's categorical, we fix with mode.
Okay.
Do you get?
Yes. So now you are looking at each ID rows.
So each row now,
Each
each
of the
row now we're going to be
ID row,
studying.
whether it's ID number
Yeah,
10, number 20. So when
each
you look
row,
at it,
each row now.
okay.
If you look at it, like now, if you see row 3 now, has how
Yes.
many missing values?
2.
So it does not satisfy our condition, right? So what do?
Because
We
2 is
delete it.
greater than 1.
Then that is greater than 1. Correct, you have gotten it. So your own might not be 10%, your own might be 20%, which is 2 rows. You feel you have the time to spend, to be fixing it. You're this thing. Another person own might be 15%. Another person own might be no tolerance at all. He does not want to hear. He does not have time to spend. Maybe he has enough observations. Maybe he has like 1 million observations. So he does not want to do any missing values. If he just see any missing value, he deletes. You understand? So it's not cast in concrete. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Batubo, do you understand? Batubo, has he taken break?
I
You're
think
on mute, oh.
it's on mute.
Okay. But Alex, do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
All right. So I manually this in, so Control Z. So there you go. So how do we count? We are going to be checking this in one after the other. It doesn't make sense now. So what we are going to do is we are going to apply a function called count, and we want to count each of these columns. I think we are done with this. Let's just call this count.
Sorry, hold on. How did you delete those items? Did you just do press delete or backspace?
You can use delete, you can use backspace, anyone.
I usually use, I always try that, but it doesn't work. I don't know.
Whichever one works. And for Google Sheet, backspace work, delete works. All right. I think there's some things I noticed, like when I was using Google Sheet for the first time, um, when when the functions like Control Z, Control Y weren't working because I needed to download one extension that allows that integration to a particular format. So the certain shortcut keys that were not working. So when I downloaded that extension, all those things are working. So, but Google Sheet is almost automated in such a way that if you try to apply those functions and it does not work, it will ask you to download what you require to do it. So it's quite easy to use. So in this case now, we're going to be counting each of the row, right? So we use count A, not count. Count will not give us everything. We use count A. So in this time, we are using count A. Press tab. And then what are we selecting? We are selecting from what? Age
Israel.
down.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, Batubo, you back?
Sorry, I made my mic was having the same issue that Edith's own has. I now know how to resolve her
Okay.
problem.
Go
Okay.
ahead. Tell me. Tell us.
No, what you would have just done
No.
is to
Mm.
refresh your page because it happened to me.
Yeah, that's another way.
If you refresh your page, it will come up because I had the issue now.
All right. Okay. So let's continue. So let's just not kill time. So count A. So you are counting everything in this row. We did not put A because I don't want to count ID. Or should I count ID?
No, that's not necessary.
Okay, because it's unique and there's none missing, right?
Yeah,
So there you go. So from B2 to what? J2, right?
yeah.
You press enter. Sorry, I use count A. It's not supposed to be count A, it's supposed to be count blank. Look at me. Hmm? And then enter.
Israel,
It's going to use count the.
Israel, sorry,
Yeah,
can
can
you
you hear me?
expand your screen a little more? It's looking too faint. Yeah.
Sorry. How about now?
Just try and use your glasses.
I'm with my I am with my glasses.
You guys should go and settle your beef later. Thank you. Okay, so you see the count here, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
use count blank, not count A. Count A counts everything in that row. So count blank is not supposed to be, it's supposed to be count blank. So now if I normally the next one will be what? You click and drag here. Let's look at the formula. If you notice the formula for the second one is what? B3 to what? J3. So I can be clicking and dragging down like that, but it will waste our time, right? It will waste our time. So instead of doing that, I just double click. But if I double click, you see now we have some cells that what that have greater than 3 here. So let's check. If you notice now, it flows down to the point that the adjacent cell to this particular column. That double clicking ends at any, if there's any blank space cell at the adjacent column, it will just stop there.
Okay.
So let's see something. Let me just show you something. So if you double click again, let's say drop here, and then you double click further. For some reason it's not working, but normally if you double click further, it's going to stop in the next empty one, and it's like manual label, right?
Mm.
So what we do is, why don't you sort your entire sheet and rearrange all the empty cells in the adjacent cell to the list, and then the ones that have values to the top side. So what we do now is um we go back to the very top,
Mm-hmm.
apply filter, where are you? Filter. Okay, filter. Okay, you've already applied your filter, right? Yeah. So you sort it. Remember, A to Z means to the it starts from blanks 0 1, so we don't want blanks on top. We want the blanks to be the least, right? So you're going to be doing it, sorting it by Z to A, right? They're descending order, right?
Okay. Okay.
So you sort by descending order. So when you sort by descending order, it rearranges the entire this thing, meaning one down to, if you look at this, to the very least, we have only the ones that are blanks at the bottom, right? You now come back to the top. Now that particular formula, this thing that ended here, eh? Just double click on it.
Something seems to
Seems to have is not worked out. No, there's something not right. Something okay, Batuba, are you using it?
No, I'm not using it.
Because I think
okay, maybe
you are clicking on it. It's showing. You are look at it. You are selecting on it.
Me? No, I'm. Oh,
Yes, you are on
check
that
your
chat. Can
screen.
you just close? Maybe
yeah, that's
look
what I'm
like
doing now.
maybe it's you are editing it because it's showing that you are clicking. Look at it now. It's showing me that you are clicking.
That's I've left the sheet now. I'm on this other this thing now. Am I still there?
Okay, so you are good. No, it's still showing me you are there.
Uh-uh. Anonymous. Could that be you? What do I do now? Because I know
Okay,
I'm not. Hmm. That apply to
it
the
has
end now.
applied already. Yeah, I didn't check. Because normally if you once you filter sort like that and you just double click that stuff, it runs to the very end as
Mm-hmm.
far as there's no empty space and stops at where the empty space stops for the adjacent cell. So if you see this is where it stops, where the blank starts, then for you see the total number of blanks here, it's not that much. So for here now you can just click on this one and drag down. So having done this, so you want to sort this count now, everything on count. So control page up, go back up. You want to sort everything here because the filter did not capture it. So I want to create a filter that captures it. So I'm going to filter it right now. So I filter it now. I'm going to filter everything from. I don't want to filter. I don't want to see zeros to the highest number of missing values. I want to filter from zero, from the reverse order. That is the descending order, meaning the highest missing
Oh,
values count
Ben,
of
a car,
missing
because
values.
Ben, please come.
You're on the this thing. Oh, sorry, mute. You want to sort from descending order, meaning from the highest missing values to the lowest. So it's sort from Z to A again. So you see now the highest here is what 5, 4,
Mm.
3, 2, and then what 1. So what do we do? What was our statement?
We delete
If it's
from
greater than
anything above
10%,
one.
1. So what you do now is from here. Sorry. I think my processor is pretty slow. Why is it slow like this?
You are expert in the field now. You should be asking.
Mhm. I have to use formula now to leave that side.
You're not supposed to remove the header now.
Let's try it one more time. There's something that was interfering with it. I want to stop at 2. So we stop at 2. There you go. Then we do what? Shift. You right click on it and then what? Delete rows, right? Either you clear or you delete. But me, I want to delete completely. So what you will now have what is those that ones, count of ones, one missing values, and those that have what? Zeros. So with this now, our count column has delivered its job. So what do? We just delete it. It's not essential again. It has done its work. So it's gone. So by this now, I can now resort to reorder my table based on ID, and there you go. We have our clean. So now the next phase now is now to fill in the missing values, right? So we have satisfied this condition, right? We have satisfied this condition of deleting the rows that are greater than 10%. So now we have all of them as no. So if there's a missing value or a cell there, you now ask, is it numerical or is it what? Categorical. Then if it's numerical, we fill with mean. If it's categorical, we fill with mode. So, but this is the trick, right? Let's say we have a missing value here in, like, for example here, income, or let's say age. Let's say age. I've just deleted this now. And then we want to fill, and you just assume the mean age and then fill across board. Don't you think it would be erroneous in a way, because there might be certain categorical categories that exist that split the age grade that exist in those categories. For in this case now, we have the total number of people doing PhD, the age grade that is prevalent doing PhD. We have the age grade um, that is doing what they call it, undergraduate education. Then we have the age grade that is doing high school. You will not be seeing people of 59 now. If your average falls around 43, how many people that are 43 years old that are going to high school? Is so mean will not satisfy that completely. So what we will now do is we'll use, why don't you create the mean around those categories, meaning the mean at the mean age at higher education. So let me do it like this. So probably if I'm talking, you will not really understand. So the category in which we want to pivot, because what we're going to use to do it is pivot table. But let me draw it towards the right hand side so you see. So for we have age, we have income. So for pivot table, we have the category in which we want to classify is education. So in this case now we have what? 1, 2, and what? 3, right? Do you have any higher education outside that? So 1 meaning undergraduate, high school, 1 is high school, 2 is what? Undergraduate, 3 is what? Um,
Postgraduate.
Postgraduate. Okay, but to make this so that if I'm working and you understand what I'm doing, let me convert um that's what they call replace function. Where is that replace function? For education, editing.
If you do Control F, okay.
Let's look for that replace function. It's supposed to be a replace function. You know what I'm looking for, right?
But if it's Excel, you do Control Find and you just do replace, find and replace.
See, yeah. Let's see. This should be able to do that. Control F. Okay, it does so. So we find for what? Options, more options. So I want to find, so replace, find,
One. Replace with. Okay.
so we don't want it in the entire this thing range, specific range, but we want it for what? Education is
G.
on G, right?
Mm,
So it's G to G, right? We just need it for the
mm.
full G to G, right? We then press OK for range. Then find one and replace with what? Undergrad,
No, secondary
right?
education.
High school, sorry.
High school.
Replace all. So you say replace 2061 instances of one with high school. So we do for two.
Undergrad.
Replace with what?
Undergrad.
Replace 1369 instances of two with undergrad. Then do the same thing for three. Call it postgrad.
Mm.
1472 instances of three. So you press done. Have you seen? That's applied.
Mm.
Right? So if I'm talking like this, you will understand. So I can either use high school, pivot around high school, undergrad, then what? Postgrad. Then for age, instead of just filling the missing values under the age column, you find the average for age, eh, for high school. So if the individual is in the high school, you find use the average case for high school categories and fill it. It will be best suiting than just to find the average for the entire high school, undergrad, and postgrad and start filling it throughout like that. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It improves our precision and our detail to missing values, right?
Mm.
Yeah,
So
yes.
for in this case now, so we do something like this. I can't start doing this manually right now. We have what they call pivot table that does the same thing for us. So for income, it's going to be average too, right?
Yeah.
Income. Then for zip code, what will it be?
Uh, it's not good. I don't think it's going to be average.
What is it gonna be?
Mm.
Mode.
Yeah, mode, numerical data, mode.
Because it's most frequent.
It's a count type.
The count.
Is it a count? It's categorical. It does not have numerical representation. It looks like numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that number they represent an entity, a
Yeah, it
place, a
represents a
location.
location. Okay. Makes
It's
sense.
not doesn't have any numerical
Categorical.
representation, so it's categorical, right?
Yeah.
So you use the word, the mode
Mm-hmm.
of what, zip and so forth. So instead of me doing all these things now, let's apply it now. So we do use what we call the pivot table. No, not that. You highlight everything. This guy control shift down just to highlight everything. Then you go to data. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
with the with
Okay.
you.
Yes.
You go to insert, sorry, and click pivot table. I'm doing this slowly so that you see, so I can have a choice to do it in this either by the side or on a new sheet. So I want to do it in a new sheet totally. I've selected everything on the data set and then apply it some. So this is a pivot table now created on a new sheet, you know, and then there you go. So we have age, we have income, we have everything listed for us, so to make things easy. Remember, on each of the rows here, we want to fill in our the education system, right? The classification. So I filter, I've added it right now, so it's going to change. Apply. What have you observed? We have a missing value on the height on the this thing. So we don't want to pivot around the missing value. So what do? We filter it, right? We filter it and remove all the blanks. So what happens now? It takes off this blank. Sorry, it looks like the system is really loading. It's taking time. There you go. You get right?
Yeah.
Then after which you now want to start
Okay, no comment.
what you want to be pivoting around. So you now start dealing with age. We start with age. We are not doing ID, of course. We're doing age, we do income, we find the average of age. So for average of age, you go to values right now, you add the age, and you instead of using count, you convert the count to what average, because we don't want to count of age, you want the average of age for each of the high schools. So now if you use count, you see how it comes out like this. This is not what you want to fill for the age. You want to know the average age for each of the high school postgraduate. So as you have applied the average, it should apply anytime soon. I don't know why this thing is really slowing down. Is it the network?
Wow.
There you go. So another thing too now is that I might want to round this off, right? So system is pretty slow.
Mm.
So we remember for our decimal places now, for age now, do we have any decimal places? It was all integers, right? There's nothing like 45.0, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing like 45.0 in our age column, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
there was something like that.
Look at this now. So I'm gonna go back to the pivot table. Sorry, for a reason this is pretty very slow. I've overworked my system. It needs breathing space. I think what happened right now is that there's this thing I'm building, and it's and I had to download it. I had to manage my RAM space, manage my this thing, and it's crazy. So
Mm.
after you are done with age, we do income, and for income we want to do what define the average, right? Average income. We don't want to find the sum of the income for each of them. So we have found the average income. So income now, if you notice, it was not a decimal, it was some form of kind of an integer, right?
Yes.
So we
Mm.
also want to select it and then remove all the decimal places. Okay, another thing you can also do now is to what? You can edit this and then call it what? AVG, average age, underscore age, just so that then drag down so that you have something consistent. You can do the same thing for this. Instead of call it income, I can call it inco. You understand what I mean? Oh, someone just went off. Then you can now repeat the same thing. So for zip code, what did we say we were gonna apply?
Mode.
Yeah. So mode now, are we applying count or count all?
Zip code. Count. It. Uh,
I want us to think very carefully.
We did count all last week.
We did count. Listen carefully. Look at this. We apply count. We can apply the mode of it of zip code here, and it's now counting
individual
each
number.
zip code under it. Yeah. So that's not what we're looking for, right? What you want to know is the highest occurring.
Uh,
So in this case now we're going to use count or average.
highest occurrence. That would be average.
Even though it's categorical in the
Yeah.
book.
We don't have choice but to use average. Average. Mm.
But
Although the
if we
information
use
is a little
average
biased.
right now, listen carefully right now. Yes, that's what I'm thinking of right now. Meaning it's seen is as some form of numerical representation, right?
Mm.
Mhm.
So if
It's count.
mean will not work, right?
Mm.
Mean will not work. Why don't you use something like median?
Median. The middle.
Yeah, yeah.
Interesting. Let's try that. Oh,
There you go.
interesting.
Sorry, Israel. For this now, what's the interpretation? Are you saying what's the interpretation for this zip
It's a
code?
categorical variable, right? Is not a numerical representation. But right now we are pivoting around high school education. That is high school, postgraduate,
That's
and
what I'm saying
undergrad,
now.
right?
My point is, are you now saying that 9,407? I don't want to, or is it the zip code? That is zip code 9,004.
This is a zip code. They
Median zip
send
code.
they have like the median zip
Zip code.
code for high school.
I don't think that's correct. What I think we should have looked
Okay.
out for, eh, if we use the
Yeah.
count will give us the number of people in high school. eh,
Mm-hmm.
the number of people in high school. No, zip code is a unique identity because it will tell you where this person is, like address.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
because I'm
I
trying to
remember.
I'm trying to
Okay.
relate this zip code now to what we are pivoting it to. You know, the
Yeah.
undergraduate. Now, if you look at, okay, let's look at what we have done so far. Now we've agreed that the average age of high school people is 47,
Yeah.
45. Average
45.
for
Yeah.
postgraduate is 46. Average for
Mm-hmm.
undergraduate age is this. Then the
Mm-hmm.
income level for high school is 86. So now I'm trying to relate this zip code now. That was what I said. What's the
Yeah.
interpretation of this that we have done?
So first of all, you need to identify what data type is zip code. What data type? We have agreed is categorical, right?
Yeah. It's very cool.
Now, when you say it's categorical, what do you mean? Let me understand better. Because first,
Well,
I know the zip
But
code.
Tubo, you are the one that
No, wait
what
now.
does it mean to be categorical? Mm-hmm.
Wait, I want to look at it. I want to assume zero knowledge now. Say zip code ordinarily, shows the address, or it tells you the area where this person is living.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's from the data
It
that
has
we
no
have.
numerical. It has no numerical attachment to a representative. It does not have any mathematical
Yes, it doesn't
application
have
to
any
it. It's
mathematical. Yes,
just a number representing
represent it.
The
Beautiful.
location.
Like
an area.
an area.
So, yeah,
So that's what the zip code is. So
yeah.
I'm now saying that, and what when we did that, how did we looked at the average to remove the outliner when we were doing that. Now I'm trying to look at it now in relation to what we're doing now. How That's why I say, what is the interpretation? Like, what does 93407 mean to high school?
Well,
Okay, let's do this.
Do it good.
Let's start from this.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start from count.
Mm-hmm.
When we count the total number of zip codes that fall under the category of high school, we have
Fine. That's
2060
what I
zip
think makes
codes
sense.
that fall under
Mm-hmm.
it. For postgraduate, we have
1,000 something,
1468,
yes.
and the same thing applies for undergrad,
Undergraduate,
1369. You
yes.
understand? But we are not going to be filling with the count of zip codes, right?
exactly.
We are going to be filling. We want a zip code
Yeah, we want the zip
that
code, the
satisfy
location.
the central tendency that applies to a high school. Meaning, if you are in high school, there's a neutral tendency that you belong to this particular zip code.
Does it
Okay,
make
Do you
again,
understand?
if you use count AID, you will notice that the
Yeah.
zip code does not start
It's
in
not.
nine series. It starts with,
Yeah, it's
you
just
understand?
counting.
It just
It's
counted
just
the
counting.
number of high school people that
Yeah.
they are 2060. That's the number of high
Mhm.
yes?
school. It doesn't tell
Mm-hmm.
you the zip code number. And you look at it again, the zip code here on the count is just 4 digits. Meanwhile, normal zip
Mhm.
code is 5 digits. So if you use that one you used before, it will give you like it will put you in the same category of what zip code look like.
No, I don't.
Mm.
I don't want us. When you talk about just putting it just because it is the number of zip code, because all that represents zip code. I just want to know,
Mhm.
understand, how it relates to this particular thing that we're pivoting it against. That's the high school. So, what's the interpretation?
This is what I'm seeing right now.
Mhm.
Count does not satisfy it because count is just counting
The
the
number.
zip code, one zip code, two
Mhm.
zip code. Yes. Average, because it does not have any mathematical representation, right? Will not satisfy it, right? Look at this now.
No, it
We
doesn't.
don't. Is count is It doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Median, on the other case, to me, it doesn't.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't.
What is median? Median
Is the middle.
arranges and finds the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You understand, right?
Mm-hmm.
But median will give us the closest representative,
Yeah, it's less biased than using a mode representation.
less than by. If we want to test what we are saying now, let's create an pivot table. Let's pivot education in particular. Let's pivot. Um, I really wish we can pivot around this zip code, so that each zip code we call it a pivot. It's a pivot. Then we 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 put in each column now will now be high school,
Mm-hmm.
postgraduate, and undergraduate. By that way, then we now rank it and now find out, because if you notice this column of pivot zip code, let's look at this. There's only one zip code that had a missing values. Where are you? Sorry. this is why data cleaning takes 80% of a data scientist's life. Because you want quality. The quality of data sets, determines your output, right? So if you notice that the entire missing values is only this one in particular, so we might look at it very well. If you notice the education category is what, postgrad, right? And what is telling you the tendency, there's more tendency for all postgrad. Okay, let's do something. Filter off all postgrad, because we are looking to fill out that postgrad, right? There's no hard and fast rule that say must use pivot table, but I'm just testing out something. Come on, don't waste my time. Okay, so if you see now, for all the postgrad, if you notice now, the zip code is between 9005, 9007, most 9024, 9025. Just look at this,
Nine zeros
look at
more.
its range, 9 zeros, right? And it's still going down,
Okay.
right? So it's either a filter work like that, but if you look at this pivot table, when I use median kind of list out um the zip code for high school, zip code for postgrad, the zip code for undergrad, and find the middle one. I can Is the closest representation, sorry, is the closest representation of all the central tendency we have used.
Okay, let's go ahead.
Except we want to uh
Well, why I'm just looking at it is because the other ones do not, since we're looking for zip code, the other ones did not give us zip code. They were just giving us number. But this actually, represents that this thing as a zip code.
there's something I'm trying to investigate that median. I'm trying to investigate that median. It gave us postgrad as what, 3106, right? I want to first of all find out, is that an actual zip code? 3106. Sorry, now welcome to our
It
life.
is.
So we have
It is.
3106. It's an actual zip code. So
Mhm.
how many? So you see, it's just 1, 2, 3. So it's just the middle zip code he just picked and gave to us.
Mm,
You understand?
mm.
So um we have to resort to another means, maybe a count of each unique zip code. How can we achieve that? I think this one now is out of the normal things we know.
If we go to that zip code column and we
Yeah,
filter, you know, if we filter, if we do a filter, it will give us a count
of each zip
of
code.
each zip code. Like, if you go to that zip
Are you
code,
sure?
yes, I think you can. You just do filter, then you go to the side and you highlight all of them. It gives you a count.
This is in a scenario where the total number of sample or population you are looking at is just 5,000. If you have the one
If
that
it
is
exceeds
in
5,000, you know that you're not
millions,
going to do this now. You see, if we filter
You
this,
have to look.
if we pick,
You have to. That is where coding comes
yeah, you
into
now
play.
you use a program to do this
okay,
now.
okay,
To
we've
add,
not gotten to that part.
this is
Okay.
just the manual thing, so that you know how rigorous
It
it is on
does.
the background.
Okay. That's fine. It's okay. Let's
So
try.
you see, the filter now is just identifying the unique
Unique
code, the
zip code,
unique.
yes. So what I'm saying is,
But how do you count it? Okay.
You'll
what
be
I'm
clicking
saying
it
is,
one by. You'll be taking it
no,
one
no, no,
after
wait
the
now.
other.
If we look at it, you can pick them, yes. If you or somehow you can get the unique zip code, then do a count on them. Just I don't know how.
That you can also use pivot table to do that, Sha.
Yes, Abby.
That
You
was
you
what I was thinking of. You
yes,
can use a unique
Pivot
pivot table.
cable to
table.
get the count of the zip code. Then you
Then you create. Let's create another one.
okay. You want to create for only the zip code.
Yes, that's the
Yes.
only way you can count, do that count you are talking about.
Mm,
So you're going to be pivoting around what?
zip code.
Excellent. This is real life issues. If you notice, I did the experiment. I did the workings on the other particular this one. We did not handle the one that had the zip code. So this zip code provides us with real life wahala. So we have to resolve it now. So we are pivoting around what zip code. So now one thing about the zip code now is going to have a missing value in it. So you're going to filter out that missing value because we don't want to pivot around the missing value. Add zip code. Mm, remove the blank. Press OK. There you go. So what do you want to do? You want to add what column? Add from the
Education.
income.
You can use
Okay. I thought we would have done education since that is where we are.
These values you need to add. Sorry. Education, sorry. Then what are we adding on this education? Count of education per each. So it's now to how do you identify each unique, because what I want to do is, if you notice, our target is just postgraduate, right?
yeah.
Right.
I think
So how do you find the count of each unique
I know,
education?
although I don't know how to do it, but I know that you can do a sub category in pivot. So what I'm in my head now, what I'm just seeing, since we've gotten the count, we can now classify the different this thing into the three. It will now give us the number for undergrad, the number for high school, the number for this. So we look the most.
How do you attend? How do we attend subcategory?
So
Madam
Why didn't
Idiot,
we use what?
use
Why
your
didn't we
Excel
use
now.
that? You think I'm that super good in Excel?
I use count unique for a reason, because if you notice, we are pivoting around zip code, and what we are looking for is a unique individuals, right? around around the unique education uh, systems. So what I want to do now is to see. Okay, mode will not work. Count unique will not work. Give me the idea of your mode. Let me see. One of the things I understand is, if you are stuck in a particular place and you have difficulty dealing with a particular missing value, right? You calculate the time you want to spend dealing with it. Then you also check the importance of it. Then you also check what happens, what is the frequency of it, the impact you're going to have if you ignore it, right? So if you look at it now, we have only that one missing value, and if you look at it now, we have spent a couple of hours, I said hours, a couple of minutes now, trying to figure out how to pivot around it, to get the subcategories of the education, but somehow it's proving a little bit challenging. So because of the limited tools Excel have provided for us, you know, pivoting around each zip code, right? So unless you want to start manually doing that, but we don't want to go into all those. So what we're going to do now is probably we're going to find a way, you know, just find a way to probably mm, what do you think we should do? Let me be sure.
We leave it for you now to look at and come up with a solution by next week.
Don't leave me alone here in this. I want you to also think about it. So what I think we should do, if you ask me, are you hearing? If you
Yes,
ask me, first of all, bring out the missing value again. Remember you filter by postgrad. Where is it? Where is that missing value?
you. I think
Oh,
you
we
removed
the
it.
filter
You
the
filtered it out.
filter. Yeah, you have to. Someone has created another pivot table
Yeah, I created another one just now to check something,
to
and
check it out.
it was just weird that Epstein grand total.
So what I'll do, I'll delete this. Let me just remove it. I'm gonna okay. I'm gonna delete this again. So let's get back to the sheet now and then apply the filter again. A to Z. So you want to see that missing value. The bottle, the how will I call it? The bottle in our neck. Where are you? It still does not want to come out.
Are, are you sure you didn't remove the blank, the one that is blank? You did something to it now.
Okay, let me do something. There are many ways to kill a bird. Select all. And then you arrange. There you go. See it here.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is um clear. Man, this thing is loading the hell out.
Saizu, I'm not seeing your screen. No. I've been lost since.
You've been shouting your
Yeah,
name.
Madam Edith, find him. He's trying to tell us that he's around.
Hmm.
Waiting you buy, come back. Agabatu, waiting you buy, come back. Yeah, you don't go review. Agabatu. Okay, so this is what I'm going to say. If you look at this, the person's income. Uh oh, where the hell? What happened? What's
Who
happening?
is on the sheet now? Yes, somebody is
Someone is
on
on the
that
sheet.
sheet.
Who
Anonymous.
is this? Batubo.
He's not
I
even
don't.
online
It's
again.
not. It's not on calling.
I don't. Who is this person?
What's the ID?
It- Someone is clearly distorting what we are doing.
Yeah, that's not my ID.
And not numbers. There's a concern I'm having here. If I have filtered on only
Postgraduate.
why is this thing showing these numbers? Then why is high school showing? This is what we are looking for. So this is what I'm looking at. If you notice, the person's age is 59, right? And if you notice, the income range is around 45. So I'm going to go and start using much powerful term.
I'm not on it.
Um, okay,
My
welcome back.
network is even disturbing. I want to even shut log out. I want to sign out. The network is disturbing me.
Okay, so if you look at the person, I'm going to use two factors to kind of fill in. Age 59, family is 3, postgraduate age 52, family was 3. So let's look for another family 3. Age 63 is 92521. This one is what? 92, still around 92 series. Let's look for another one. Family 4, postgraduate. So we still have a couple of zip codes that are missing. Oh. Should we
It's
agree
only
to
one
delete all zip? Can we agree to delete all zip codes? Missing zip codes.
missing zip code.
Yeah, I
Is
can
it only
agree.
on
Let's just do that
postgraduate
then.
that we have a missing zip code?
Let's just ignore them. Let's just ignore zip code completely. Or let's just delete that of zip code. This Excel sheet have started being misbehaving. Why is it doing this? Okay. Okay, let's just what we'll do now is instead of wasting much time like that, let's just kind of because the zip code now is there's no way we can just go around it and assume a zip code like that, except we go through that other kind of rig of technical analysis. But so let's just knock off anybody that have any missing zip code. Let's just knock off those observations.
Okay.
Since we have enough observations, so zip code starting from 0, start from 0, or let's say those ones with blanks, clear all, select the ones with blank. So we have number 1, we have number 51. So what we'll do is just to delete it.
Good.
Then we go back to the pivot table.
You create a new one now, but we still use the other one.
So no, what we do was that we don't want to deal with all the missing values, the missing zip codes, right? Because it's of how unique they are, right? And we don't want to go into the much rigor of going into pivoting around the unique zip code. Um, then we now start going not just by education, then by high school, the subcategories of education. And since Excel is just limited in some forth, let's just delete out because it just turns out to be just four rules that were affected. So instead of wasting much time going through all those much rigor, we just deleted it. Then instead of dealing with zip now, the next thing is what family. Let's just wrap this up. Cancel zip code. Select family. Man,
That was stressful.
this is actually why that this is where people earn their cash because it's work. You think that cleaning data sets, you have to come to a final decision of why. Oh, sorry, it's what I'm clicking. Add family. Let me just wrap it up. Showing that I'm already getting fatigued. So for family, what do you want to do? We don't want to use. We want to use the count of each. Um, is it going to be count or going to be median or average? Which one? Or is it going to be mode?
Mode. It will be mode
Why?
because we are looking for, well, we are looking for both and on.
Is it categorical? It's not categorical now.
Yeah, for undergraduate, right? Oh,
No, for family, it's numerical.
it's
So we
numerical.
use
It's
Sorry,
name.
numerical.
I and also the data set. I thought we were
So
still
if you
looking
look,
at postgraduate that zip code.
I notice we are getting because we are really tried today. So if you look at this now, um, 2.2, eh, for high school, postgrad 2.4 just in the middle, and 2.6 a higher tendency for undergrad. What it literally means is you have a more tendency for you to have average family size of two when the person's highest education is high school, which is relatable, right? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah, which is relatable, right? Then for undergrad, if the person is almost 2.6, that is almost 3. So it's quite okay. For postgrad, we can assume 2.6. That is 3. Okay. So for family, we're going to use 3 we're going to use 3 for both postgrad and undergrad, and then we're going to use 2
two.
for high school. Yes, we're going to do that. The idea of this pivot table is for you to assume based on the unique case of each feature you are dealing with. So for average credit card spending, is it going to be what data type was it? It's a float, and since it's a float, then what are we going to be applied to it? Average, right?
Okay,
Right?
because yes, because it's yeah, average.
Yeah, that's it. Average will do.
I can barely hear you. My network is really bad because there's rain falling now.
Sorry, average family. average. Can you hear me? I just want to edit it so that we can have more space so that you see. Now to blow this up so that you see. Mhm. Then we are done with average CCAVG. Average education is what? Mm, what will be using for education? Will be use Are we going to be using average, or going to be using count, the mode?
Mode.
That will be what? Count A, right? But if we use count A, right? Um if you look at it now, the count of education is what? The count of high school is at age the count of
45.
high school is what? 2000 is. The count of postgraduate is what? 1.46, 1468, and undergrad 1369. So what does it mean? There is a higher tendency for individuals to be fall under the what? High school category. So there will be more tendency for us to, you know, for high school.
Well, count.
What else?
Mortgage.
Mortgage is gonna be what?
Okay, now that would be tricky. Um, so this is mortgage data sets.
How is it gonna be? Why is it gonna be tricky?
See, um,
It's monetary value, right?
yeah, it's
So
monitoring.
average
So it'll be average. Yeah, yeah, it'll be average.
average
What
will do the
about
thing, right? But if you notice now is we want to find out um if you check now
mm,
um for high school, we want to find out for mortgage how many people in high school have mortgage
mortgages?
itself. Because if you notice that just few of them, majority of them have zeros, and most of them have just mortgage listen. So what you might do first is, even though it's numerical, is monetary kind of, we might want to do um
Mode.
yes, want to find count unique. Let me just try something. I want to apply count unique first. Let me see. Okay. So for high school, we have about 281 unique. We have that's entry unique entries. We have 207. So this is spread for each of them. Then um, what we can also do now is, since there's a spread in a way, um, what's the maximum eh, for each of the pivots we are doing? So let's find the maximum, because we might know the minimum. The minimum might be zero across board. So we have for the maximum mortgage mortgage that a high school person owns is what? 635, 612 for postgrad and undergrad. So somehow a mortgage loan for high school person is leading. So let's see if we have a minimum across. This is us testing so that we know the central tendency that we're going to use to fill in a minimum value. There's no hard, so it's zero across board. So in a way, it's a little bit balanced, right?
Yeah.
So average can satisfy our condition. We just want to check to see if average can satisfy our condition. And we now see that both across board, you know, they all have the same minimum and maximum range in almost kind of. So let's apply an average. Come on, why is it loading? So you see it's between 61, 54, and 52. So we are going to assume that as our this thing and just round it up. Let's just round it up. Then what else?
Then there's online.
There's online, which is the last.
No.
Finally,
Online is
online.
not the last. Loan taking is the last.
Loan taking, we are not pivoting around loan taking. We are not
Okay.
feeling missing values there.
Oh,
If there are any missing values in loan taking, we are deleting it because we want actuals for our analysis.
okay, okay.
Remember, the aim of everything we are doing here is to find out whether or not a
Certain
person take loan.
individuals.
So we don't want to assume for
Okay.
online. So for this online, if you notice, it's a binary.
Mm,
If you notice, it's a binary, right? So
mm.
what we are going to do, mm, change this. What we're going to apply here is we're going to use average, not count, even though it's binary. The reason being, if we just count the highest, okay, let's just try it. Let me just show it to you so that I don't talk too much. You understand? If you are counting, you are seeing the highest count of the values in each of the high schools, undergrad and postgraduate. You can't, it does not give you the whether yes or no. So if you use average, so if you use average, what it will do, it will give you a numerical representation, though it's going to be in decimals, right?
Yeah.
But what will happen is that if it's above 0.5, 0.5 and above, it's a yes. If it's below 0.5, it's a no for each category. Do you understand?
Mm.
You understand that part, right?
Yeah.
So if you see now, it's above 0.5 for all across board. So what it literally means is when we come to the real table, for all missing values, let's do this. Let's start fixing. Let's filter in. First of all, we said any loan taking that is empty. Let's look at it. So we don't have any empty loan taking. So we are good with that. Let's look at online. We have a couple of blanks. So we uncheck this and apply. Let's go for the blank ones first. So for all of them is yes, 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 right? Across postgraduate high school is yes, yes, yes. So we're going to fill with all through with one, right? One, 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 one.
So what's say it again? What's the criteria for now filling it with one? You say go use the pivot table again. Let me understand why you are using one.
Remember, remember our pivot table. We are done with this. Our pivot table here, if you look at it, average online. If
Mm,
you, when we check the average for high school, postgraduate, and undergrad, is above 0.5. Since it's a binary, if it's above 0.5, it means yes. If it's below 0.5, it means no.
mm,
Do, do you get?
mm.
So that is why, since all across board is above 0.5, so that's why we filled yes, yes, yes for every missing value that we're talking about online.
So that yes is
Having
one.
understood the one, yes. So let's deal with mortgages. For mortgages, okay, sorry, the filter is still on. Careful about this thing, it's always tricky. You unfilter everything, then we go back to mortgages. You keep repeating it till you finish across board. So use clear all, select only blanks. So we have for mortgages here, what was our average for high school? 62, 51 for undergrad, and 54 for postgrad. 62, if I'm going to get it correct, 62, 51, and 54. So we have here 62, we have here 62,
62,
we have here what?
54.
Is it 54 or 52? 51, 62. Let's check. Let's check. See it here now. Undergrad 51,
Okay, 51.
undergraduate
Yeah.
51.
Okay.
So what it means for undergraduate to feel 51. Then we uncheck again, and we continue till we finish. So let's just call it a day because I think we have really tried. You can
Yeah.
go and keep filling till you fill every single thing. You do for
Uh,
age, you do for income, you do for family, you do for, and then and round up. Your question?
okay. Um, is there anywhere else we can, after we've done this, is there anywhere else we can find more